Okay, so we have talked about solving systems, and we've done it 3 different ways. We've graphed and seen where they cross. We've used substitution, which means substituting something in for something else. And we've used elimination, which means getting rid of one of the variables, solving for the other, and then finding the other one. So let's review graphing first. So here's my system, y equals 3x minus 1 and y equals negative 2x plus 4. So you'll see that in this equation, it's already in slope-intercept form, y equals mx plus b. So I know the slope and I know the y-intercept. So I'm going to use slope and y-intercept to graph instead of making a table. So my y-intercept for the first equation is -1. So I'm going to go ahead and put a dot at the y-axis. Remember, this is your y-axis. Okay, so since it's the y-intercept, you're going to put a dot on this axis, the y-axis, at -1. And then the slope is 3. Remember, if there's not a bottom number, you need a rise and a run. If there's not a run, you just put a 1 there. So my slope is 3 over 1. They're both positive, so up 3, right 1. So I'm going to go up 1, 2, 3, right 1, up 1, 2, 3, right 1. Okay, and I know that 3 over 1 is the same as -3 over -1 because two negatives make a positive. So I'm actually going to go down 3 and left 1 just to make this line a little longer. So 1, 2, 3, left 1. Okay. So now I've graphed this first line. Now I'm going to graph this one. We've got y equals -2x plus 4. The y-intercept here is 4. So on the y-axis, I'm going to find 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm going to put a dot. All right, now my slope is -2. Remember, if there's not a bottom number, you need a rise and a run. So I'm going to put a 1 there. And since this is a negative, that means I go down 2 and write 1. So I start here at that y-intercept of 4, and I go down 2 and write 1, down 2 and write 1. And right away, I can see where they cross. That's their solution. And now I just have to figure out what that is. Remember, a solution is always an x, y. So this is the x-axis, so it looks like it's at 1. And the y, okay, looks like it's at 2. But you need to check that. How do you do that? Well, you replace the x with 1 and the y with 2, and you have to do that in both of the equations, this one and this one. So you're going to replace y with 2 and x with 1 in the first equation, and then do it again in the second equation. So I'm going to, in the first equation, instead of y equals, I'm going to write 2 equals, and instead of 3 times x, I'm going to do 3 times 1. Okay, again, because this was my y and this was my x. And then -1. Now check, 3 times 1 is 3, minus 1 is 2. So it worked in this first equation. Now I need to check the second equation. Again, I'm going to replace the y with the 2 and the x with the 1. So 2 equals -2 times 1 plus 4. And then check it. -2 times 1 is -2, and -2 plus 4 is 2. So it works in both. So I've checked it, and the solution to my equation is 1, 2.